In this episode, we are going to name all the Secretary Generals of the United Nations since 1945-46. After the First World War, the countries then which were free started an organization that was called League of Nations. League of Nations. They continued until the Second World War, when the League of Nations died a natural death. In its place, they started United Nations. United Nations, just like the African Union, is headed by a secretariat, where the head of the secretariat is called the Secretary General. In the All Africa Organization of Africa Union, OAU, the head of secretariat was called Secretary General. But later on, when the OAU, Organization of African Union, changed to African Union, the Secretary General's position was renamed. It was renamed the chairman of the African Union Council. But with the United Nations, since its formation in 1945-46, the Second World War ended in 1945. So in 1945, it started as United Nations to replace the League of Nations. The head of the secretariat is called Secretary General. It was started in the year 1945, but they appointed the first Secretary General of United Nations in 1946. That was the first Secretary General. His name was Tigve Lai from Norway. He was the Secretary General between 1946 and 1952. That is a period of 6 years. Between 1953 and 1961, he was replaced by Dag Hammarskjöld from a Swedish. For those of you who do not know, he died in Africa. We have the problem we still have in DRC, the problem that we call MVETRA, that is M23. We have the Banyamulenge, we have whatever. So Congo War started a long time ago. And Dag Hammarskjöld, who was a Swedish, had flown to then Republic of Congo. By then it used to be called Belgian Congo. It used to be called Belgian Congo. The current Republic of Congo used to be called as French Congo. So he went to Belgian Congo for peacekeeping, and the plane fell and he died in 1961. I want to say here that that country has changed its name several times. At different times it has been known as Belgian Congo. At other times it has been known as Congo Kinshasa. At other times it has been known as Zaire. And now it is called DRC, Democratic Republic of Zaire. So Dag Hammarskjöld, a Swedish, was there up to 1961. Then 1961 to 1971, we had JI-TENGE. JI-TENGE was from Burma. Those days that country used to be called Burma, but today it is called Myanmar. He was the Secretary General up to 1971. And in 1972 to 1981, we had Kurt Waldheim. was an Austrian. Don't confuse Austria with Australia. Austria is a country in Europe. Kurt Waldheim was the Secretary General for UN from 1972 to 1981. Later on, in the 90s, he became the president of Austria. Usually, such organizations like UN and OAU or even African Union, usually the former presidents become secretary generals and whatever. But with Kurt Waldheim, it was a bit different. And in fact, when he became the president for Austria, people then remembered that he was a German. He was Austria. By the way, Austria is the country where Hitler came from. Yeah, Hitler came from Austria. For Hitler to be the leader of Germany, it's like Duale being the president of Somalia. It's just like Duale being the president of Somalia. So Hitler was born in Austria, and during the Second World War, it came. I don't know why they did not notice when he was the UN Secretary General, but when he became the Austrian president in the 90s, he the information came out that he was a Nazi officer. He left in 1981. In 1982 to 1991, you see, those are 10 years, isn't it? There is this 1961 to 71, 1972 to 81, 1982 to 91, around 10 years. We had Javier Harvest Perez de Cuellar from Peru. Then 1992 to 1996, we had Boutros Ghali from Egypt. As I've said, you may have noticed that they used to serve 10 years. But what happened is that you serve 5 years, eligible for re-election only once. You are eligible for re-election only once. Now, Boutros Ghali, an Egyptian, I think he was not a Muslim. I think he was an Orthodox Egyptian. But when he completed his first term, 1992 to 1996, being an Egyptian, America contested an Egyptian being the UN Secretary General by trying to associate him with organizations such as PLO, Palestinian Liberation Front. But Africans started complaining that each continent was given 2 terms of 5 years, each totaling to 10. How comes that it is becoming the turn of Africa, where we are now having 1992 to 1996, which is a 5-year term? That one was noted, and an African was elected in his place. In 1997, Kofi Annan from Ghana was made the Secretary General from 97 to 2006. Kofi Annan is a different Secretary General as compared to other Secretary Generals, in that he was a civil servant within the organization. He had worked along that organization and risen to the top. His diplomatic DM made it so possible that his second term was just automatic. There were to be a technicality that he was to serve one term, to serve as the second term because of Boutros Ghali. But he served two. So Africa had 3 consecutive terms. In 2007 to 2016, there was Ban Ki-moon from Korea. And from 2016, he had completed his 10 years. Then 2017, we had the current one, Antonio Guterres, who is still there and most likely is going to get out in 2027. My viewers, that is how the UN Secretary Generals have been serving for all that time. Each has been serving for 10 years, except two. Two did not serve for 10 years. I told you about uh, Dag Hammark from Sweden, who did not complete his term because, oh yeah, his term was approaching the end because he was there from 1953. He was to be there up to 1963. So he served for 8 years, and he had a plane crash in Congo. Congo, which by then used to be called, uh, when before independence, it used to be called Belgian Congo. After independence, it used to be called Congo Kinshasa. Then later it was called Zaire. From Zaire, now it is called DRC, uh, Democratic Republic of Congo. So that one, Dag Jold from Sweden, he served for 9 years because he did not complete the 1 year because of the plane crash. You can see the others all served 10 years, 10 years, except Boutros Ghali. Those are two, him and Boutros Ghali. Boutros Ghali served only for one term. When it came to renewal, America contested, saying that him being from an Arab country, most likely he was sympathetic to armed Palestinian groups. Viewers, this is an historical thing that you can repeat seeing several times, and you can share with any other person interested in history. Thank you.